To this day.
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 What's up, fight fans? This is Kurt DeVille with Counterpunched Boxing News, and I have some new news concerning Jermall, Charlo, Jaime, Munguia. Get this. Munguia, Golden Boy Challenge claim that Charlo fight is no longer in play. Big surprise. Jaime Munguia and his U.S. promoter either believe they have more time on the clock or are in damage control mode. Both could be very well the case. Upon reports that Tijuana's Munguia side fumbled the snap on a discussed challenge of the WBC middleweight titleist Jermall Charlo, which is 32-0 and 22 knockouts, both Munguia and promoter Oscar De La Hoya, a Hall of Famer, 6th Division titleist and funder and chairman of Golden Boy Promotions, took to social media to claim that the fight is still being discussed. Charlo and Munguia were in advanced talks for a fight targeted for June 18th in Houston, only for such negotiations to suddenly hit a wall. A report from ESPN's Mike Coppinger noted that the main sticking point was on which platform to air the title fight. The offer was made by Golden Boy Promotions on behalf, TGB Promotions on behalf of Premier Boxing Champions, with the intention to air it on Showtime, the current home of nearly all of PBC's premium content. Golden Boy, the U.S. promoter for Munguia, with Zanfir Boxing taking the lead in Mexico, has done its business exclusively with DAZN since December of 2018, hoping to have the platform involved in an offered joint pay-per-view. Finalizing Charlo versus Munguia is top priority, De La Hoya stated on Saturday afternoon on social media, shortly after news broke of the reported fallout. Golden Boy remains committed to our partner, DAZN. DAZN Boxing understands the magnitude of this fight and is willing and able to collaborate with Showtime Sports to get this done. I hope Showtime is on board. It was also claimed in the ESPN report that such negotiations, as included a rematch clause, had Charlo lost and exercised the clause, Munguia and his side would have been in position to bring the fight to DAZN. This point was addressed by Showtime's side. Simple, fair solution. Excuse me. As the champion and the side initiating the deal and paying for the fight, the Charlo side, TGB, chooses the network for the first fight, insisted Stephen Espinosa, president of sports and event gaming for Showtime. If Munguia wins, then the GB, Munguia controls the rematch and can take it to DAZN or whatever other network they choose. The fight was in discussion for at least 3 weeks, shortly after Munguia's third-round knockout of unbeaten Demetrius Ballard last February 19th in his Tijuana hometown. Rumors of the potential matchup first circulated when Espinosa teased through the media that fans would be very pleased with who the network had in mind and the opponent for Charlo's next defense. Okay, so this is a lot of back and forth, okay? I'm not going to read all this. I think I've read enough. So it went from, hey, the fight was 90% done. Showtime would have it first. If Munguia won, then Munguia's side will have it on DAZN. That's cool, but then everything is falling apart. Munguia still believes that the fight to be the case. Nothing is canceled yet. Munguia claimed in all caps, tweet Saturday afternoon, we are still in negotiations. Think this fight is a priority for all my team and me. Okay, look, this is damage control. I think this is what I believe. When you're dealing with two different platforms, not networks, platforms, you have Premier Boxing Champions, you have DAZN. If we can think back, look at Canelo. Canelo, you either have to do one or the other. You can't have both. They're not going to work together like that. And I think this is what they should do. Instead of saying if Munguia wins, I think they should have a contract and have it in the contract. We'll host the first fight on Showtime. If he wins, then we'll host it on the second for DAZN. which he's sponsored by. And that's where it gets tricky, because if he's already working under the zone, it's hard for him to then just go without producing a fight on the zone to fight on another platform. Again, we've seen that with Canelo. He had to fight Plant on Premier Boxing Champions, and he's guaranteed $50 million. So it had to be a large amount of money to do so, but he was able to do it. But that's Canelo. Charlo and Munguia. Munguia's a young, upcoming, rising star. He's a good fighter. Charlo's a very good fighter. I think, though, I would love to see that fight. That fight, both guys in their prime like that, that would probably be one of the fights of the year. Black versus brown, USA versus Mexico. Listen, that would be one hell of a fight. And it's sad that these fights don't happen, but I'll say this. And this is the question I ask you guys. Why is it where negotiations start, why does it's like some kind of imaginary deadline that people run into? It's like some kind of imaginary deadline that it just happens and all of a sudden, oh, it all fell apart. Like, okay, why does it all have to fall apart? Why do people have to get impatient with making deals work? Who says it's too late? Like, oh, that's the deadline. No, it's it. That's it. It's almost like, okay, I think we hear more rumors than actual truth. I think the negotiations are more intact than that, and I think they're more well kept versus what people want people to hear versus what actually happens. I think what really happens is something totally different. And then, them saying, hey, I still want this fight. I still want that. But if the fight doesn't happen, that's just going to be something that won't be produced. Okay, so if something won't be produced, it's bad. It's bad on so many other levels, because you have two networks, damn near like Nike and Reebok, and nobody really wants to work with each other. You have to go be at one or the other. You can't have both. You can't have Reebok. You know what I'm saying? You can't have it that way. It's either Nike or Reebok. So it's hard in this situation for these guys, but these are the type of fights that should happen. Everybody's calling out Canelo and all that. These guys need to fight each other. Munguia needs a big fight. I mean, he fought Gabe Rosado, really good fight. I enjoyed it, but I would like to see him fight Charlo. I want to see Charlo fight someone too. Because I'm tired of these guys not being able to get what they're what they should get. These are the fights that should happen. You know what I'm saying? This should be our version of De La Hoya Icorte or De La Hoya Trinidad, okay? Or De La Hoya Hopkins. This should be that type of fight. And I'm tired of fights not happening over some bullshit that we probably never will hear about. But we will see if this fight is, because they're still trying to salvage the reputation and the negotiations of this fight. So we'll see if it takes place. If it does, I will let you guys know. Tell me what you think. Please subscribe. And you guys been Counterpunch. Peace.